What up, people? This is Nas with Mass, middle age still single. If you like the content, hate, like, subscribe, but mostly subscribe. We appreciate the views. Keep following. Peace.
All right, we are back here at Middle Age Still Single, the podcast, and super excited. We have a great segment coming up. I have Nas and Nemo back with me again. Unfortunately, Mitchell had a family issue going on in Hawaii. We will see him. He'll be back next week. And we have the lovely Miss Bekah who is joining us today. How are you, Miss Bekah?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We are really good. We are really good. So,
thanks for having me.
Whenever we have a young lady on who agrees to do the dating game, we like to compete. You know, we're always talking about, guys always talk about who's got the most game. And so far, Nas and Nemo have actually won. I have yet to win, and Mitch is yet to win. So maybe definitely today won't be Mitch's day, but today maybe it'll be my day. Miss Bekah, are you ready to start the dating game?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Let's do it.
All right, number one question. What is one of your most embarrassing moments? One of the most embarrassing moments you can think of that's happened in your life.
You call out who you want.
Oh, I also want each of you to answer it.
No, we will, but you call out the order. You can call out the order.
Call out the order? Okay. Nas, is that how you say your name? Nas?
Nas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nas.
Let me clear my throat. Okay. Ask the question one more time.
Tell me about one of your most embarrassing moments.
One of my most embarrassing moments. That's a really good question. I don't really have those.
Do you not get embarrassed easily?
No, I always turn everything into magic. Like I just don't allow myself to feel like that, But I would say when I went bowling one time, I wasn't good at it. That's
Seriously,
kind of
that's it. That's
it.
How
Like,
is that your most embarrassing moment?
Because that's what all I'm going to say on this show.
Okay. All right. Robert, what about you?
My most embarrassing moment. Anytime I lose any type of competition to Nemo, that is my most embarrassing moment there.
Yeah.
Anytime you lose just to Nemo specifically?
Yeah, specifically, because Nemo's not very good at anything, and and he likes to talk a lot of shit. So whenever I have to lose to him, that hurts me, like deep in my heart.
That's awesome. Okay, Nemo, your turn.
Embarrassing moment. I'm like Nas, I really don't have those. I don't know. In regards to what though? Is it relationship or what is it embarrassing?
Just like a moment that you felt incredibly embarrassed. Like when you think about embarrassing, this comes to your mind.
Well, what I'm going to say, I don't know if you can relate to it, but that'll play into a soccer field. So I don't know if you play soccer or sports. So I'm a middle age now, so I'm not as good as I used to be. So earlier today, I had this young kid. I was trying to play against him, and he just make me look like a fool, and he scored on me. So that's an embarrassing moment, and it's actually on tape. So that is an embarrassing moment for me. So I'm not as young as I used to be.
On video, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel you. All right. Number 2, Robert, if you found a wallet randomly with $20,000 in it, cash, it's not your wallet, but you just randomly found it out and about somewhere, what would you do with it?
I'd return it. No, guarantee it. Yeah, I think it would be bad. I believe in karma, so I think by me returning it, I would think somehow down the line, the good deed would come back to me. So return it.
Okay. All right. Nas, what about you?
Yeah, I definitely call the person up and return it. I mean, I think that in a civilized society, there has to be rules. People have to look out for each other. And I would definitely, because, that person might definitely need that money.
Mm-hmm.
And, you might save someone's life, save someone's from some type of tragedy or something like that. So I would definitely return that wallet.
Awesome. Okay. Nemo, what about you?
We want honesty on this show, but Bekah, right now you're not getting good answers from those other two people. I just want to let you know they're lying their ass off, but I'm going to be honest with you. So if I get $20,000, first of all, who am I going to return it to? So what I'm going to do is hang on to it, and I'm going to wait 30 days for somebody to make an announcement. If not, Bekah, we're going to Thailand, we're going to Japan, we're going to Jamaica, we're having a good time. That's what we're going to do with it.
Okay, that actually happened to me once. I found a wallet. It wasn't $20,000; it was $10,000. But I found a wallet with $10,000 in it.
Damn. So what did you do?
I turned it in, but it was at Walmart, and it was a Walmart that was it was a wallet that had a bunch of cash in it, and so I stayed around and waited to make sure that some Walmart employee didn't just take it. Mm-hmm. And then this older guy ended up coming in and he was sobbing, and he had just gotten his tax check. And he had cashed it, and it had dropped out of his wallet. My daughter was there with me, and I was able to teach her about integrity, and she wanted to buy all the toys. And I was a little tempted to take it, but I was like, no, this is not mine.
That's human nature.
So I talked to her about integrity and about how she's like, no one will know. And I'm like, that's what integrity is. You do the right thing when no one's watching. Right?
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Awesome. All right. Number 3. Okay. Let's see. Nemo, if I asked you to give a 20-minute impromptu speech right now about something, what is something you're passionate enough about to be able to just speak about for 20 minutes?
Oh, that'll be sports. Sports. I'm passionate about sports.
Like all sports or any particular sport?
Well, my specialty is soccer, but basketball, I can beat Robert one-on-one on basketball, and I can dunk on him. I can play volleyball, baseball, anything really, golf. I just love the outdoor. I love sports. I can go on forever when it comes to that. So that would be my passion, being outdoor, I just like a healthy lifestyle, and that's what I'm all about.
All right. Nas, what about you?
Okay, yeah. I am extremely passionate about mental health and veterans health. Veterans are definitely being treated differently than what the country says how they treat. Everybody talks about the veterans when it's time for voting, but other times everybody forgets about the veterans. I know it because I'm a veteran. I've gone through a lot of things trying to get benefits and all this kind of thing. And so I would definitely be able to talk about that until the sun came up, because there's so many things that veterans need. People don't know about it. And in some cases, people don't care. We can look back at the last election and saw people talking about veterans, but they weren't actually doing anything about it. So veterans' rights and mental health, and I think they kind of go hand in hand. Those are my passions right now.
Well, thank you for your service. What branch were you in?
Marine Corps.
Marines, I love it. That's awesome. Okay. You just got some points with that for sure.
Okay.
Robert, what about you?
You know what? If I had to give a 20-minute impromptu, I would give it about developing this podcast into something that, developing our vision of this podcast into something that's really, really going to be something that people know about down the line. We're developing the travel portion of the travel group portion of the podcast, and I'm really passionate about that. I think we're going to do a lot of good. We've had some really good guests, including yourself, and I think that's what I would give it about.
Awesome.
Middle-aged, still single.
That's really an amazing thing to do it about. I love it. I'm so excited. Okay. This one I think is really interesting and says a lot about your personality. Okay. So I have to choose somebody. So, is Nemo even there? Nemo, are you still there?
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
He's there. You just can't see
him. He's really dark. He's dark skin.
Nemo, are you the kind of person who, if you see something happening, let's say we're driving in the car together and you see a guy who's like beating up on a girl or something happening that you know isn't right. Are you the kind of person who interjects themselves, or do they say, not my problem, I'm going to keep it moving?
Honestly, yes, I would definitely interject myself into that just to find out what's going on. That's just who I am. I'm old-fashioned, so I do things, old-fashioned way, respect. I mean, I'll get involved, but there could be a reason for certain things. So, there's a reason why things is, they might be fighting or there might be a problem. I don't know what it is, but if somebody's beating somebody in the street somewhere, I'll definitely step out of the car, try to stop it, figure out what's going on. So that's who I am.
Okay. Robert, what about you?
So to be honest with you, I'm going to say it depends. Like the situation, depends on a couple things, right? So like if it's 8 guys beating up on one guy, I'm probably going to stay in the car, call the police, and maybe intercede with my car, right? like there's no need for me to take an ass whooping, like if I don't absolutely positively have to, right?
Right.
So just to be honest with you, like, if the situation is a little different, like if it's a guy beating up a girl, yeah, definitely. I'm getting out the car, and I'm interceding, but like 9 to 10 guys, maybe, or maybe somebody with a gun, probably not the smartest idea for me to jump out the car. So yeah, I'm going to say it depends the situation.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Nas, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with Rob on that. It depends on the situation, but I will give you an example. When I first got home from the Marine Corps, I was downtown Dallas, and I saw a homeless guy attacking a woman with a baby. And the devil dog in me jumped right in between that. And I was ready to beat that dude. I mean, I was trying to find a job. It was a bad day for him. But I did interject, and I stayed with that woman until she got on the bus. That's just how, I was raised, to be able to want to interject and to help people when they need it. It wasn't even a thought at the time. I was a young man at the time. Now I would definitely probably take a couple of ticks, and think about it. Not in that particular situation. I think I would still do the same thing in that situation. But like Rob, I mean, I'm 52, man. What am I going to do against that guy? If he's young and I'm 52 and they're catching him, I mean, what they going to do to me? But to answer your question simply, yes, I would, if the situation would not take me away from my family.
Okay.
And my friends.
All right, last one. What would you say is okay? I gotta choose one. Robert, what would you say is one of the most like attractive things about a female? Like something that you really find attractive, whether it's a characteristic or like a physical feature. What's one of the most attractive things you find in a female, and then what's one of the most least attractive things that you think you can find in a female?
Okay, let's see here. So I'm gonna give you 2 here. I love sense of humor. I love a woman with a great sense of humor. I think that is somebody that you can share laughs with, is somebody that you can spend a lot of time with. Like, that's an absolute must. Something out of the normal. I like a competitive woman. I like to do stuff, like a woman that we could do stuff together and, have fun doing it. Like maybe play golf or, even play, if she likes certain video games, we can play video games together if we're inside the house. So I like that in a woman too. And one of the most unattractive things about a woman, probably indecisiveness. Like, if I ask her for her opinion, I mean, I'd like to have her opinion, it's
so like, where do you want to go to dinner? And she says, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the first time you say I don't care, then I'm going to pick it. I'm just going to start driving, and then and then we're going to go there, and then that's where we're going to eat at. So, but indecisiveness is not attractive on a woman. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Nemo, what about you?
Becca, I hope you're keeping track of all these lies that are going on here. I mean, people are answering this question. Personally, I know what Rob's likes on a woman. He just didn't say it, so I'm gonna let you know. We have to start saying the truth here, Rob. I know you're trying to win a date, but come on, man. Can't keep lying all through the show. All right, let me answer my own
said
question.
characteristic, Nemo. She said characteristic.
Maybe he's just, don't be calling him out like that.
Yeah, no.
Hey, we family. We got to be able to do that. We family. We got to be able to do that. But when it comes to a woman, a woman being negative, that just kills me. I cannot take that at all. A negative woman, somebody that just always see the negative part of life. I can't take it. And as far as what I love about a woman is competitiveness, because I'm very competitive. I love to be outdoors, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what I love somebody that just active, that want to be competitive with me. So that'll be my answer to that.
All right. Love it. Nas, what about you?
Would you mind repeating the question again?
Yeah. So what is one of the most attractive things that you think you can find in a woman, like one of your favorite things, and then one of your least favorite things or least attractive things?
Okay. Do you have a mirror in your house? Go look in the mirror and pick something. That's what I like.
For the most attractive or least attractive? What are you saying?
Least attractive.
Most attractive.
That was the best answer ever. That was good.
All right, bro. I see how this is, man.
That was good.
The least attractive thing I would say is a woman who's argumentative, like just for no reason.
Okay.
I'm not an argumentative person. I think that anything can be talked out with using reason and logic. I'm just not an emotional person like that. I have emotions, but I don't get emotional about, disagreements.
Yeah.
So a woman who's argumentative and who can't control herself in public, and you have to always be putting your best foot forward, and an argumentative person at home is going to be an argumentative person in public, and all you need to do is be out and someone sees you with this person, and now that's your rep.
Right.
It takes a long time to get your rep back once you lose it. So I can't deal with a woman that has that kind of characteristic. Everything else we can work on.
All right, fair. You guys are awesome. Every one of you. Your personalities are great. I love it. I knew that I would love you guys after I watched your first show. I was like, this is amazing. I love every one of them. But Nas, you won me over with like that. First of all, you're a Marine, and second of all, you said that mirror comment. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. That's too charming. You definitely win. I'm sorry.
All right, Nas. All right, bro.
Now I need you to tell me.
All right. So, Becca.
The beginning, so two out of the three of you hate me. Is that cool?
Well, listen, you'll never be invited here again.
I think they still love
you. You'll never be invited here again. That's it. Your middle-aged, still single career is over.
But Becca, Rob was railing about you. He thinks you're awesome, so don't even worry about that.
So let's get down to the topic of the day. Let's talk about the new rules of engagement. All right. So when I was young, we approached women a certain way. We were very polite. Even if we wanted to date when we were really young, we'd have to call, their parents and ask them for permission. You'd ask a woman to dance. You could talk to a woman in different ways. Things are so very different now. So Becca, as somebody who's out there right now, like, what have you noticed? Right, you're young compared to us, but what have you noticed as far as the changes in the rules of engagement?
So many changes. First of all, I could go on and on about how detrimental the swiping culture is to dating in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
It irritates me so much because it really makes people think and believe that other people are replaceable. So I've actually been on dates before where I can see them swiping other people.
On a date with you?
Wow. On the date?
Wow.
And I'm like,
wow.
Give me an hour of your time? Are you serious? And so I called one guy out. I said, I see you swiping. And he said, oh, this is just an addiction. It's nothing. Do you want to swipe with me? And he literally showed me his phone of these women. And he was like, I don't think they're as cute as you are. So, like, why are you threatened? Because you can't give me 5 minutes of your time. Like, that's so annoying.
No.
And so I just think that, like, people are so quick to just replace one another, even in actual relationships now, where it's like, oh, I've been dating you for X amount of years. I can just hop on this app and find someone to replace you in 5 minutes before, you know, I even, like, break up with you, right? So it just gives you this idea that people are disposable. So that's, like, one of the biggest things. I think the second thing is how feminism has completely... in my opinion, ruined dating in so many ways. You got owned by a lot of my feminine friends, my feminist friends.
You had me at feminism has.
Right, well, we really got a match here because that is Nas's main platform. If he was running if he was running for president, that would be his main platform right there.
It's so annoying to me. It's like, look, men and women are made different, and that's how we're supposed to be, right? And so why are you trying to, as a woman, be a man and take on a man's role, and then you want them to respect you in certain ways, but then you don't want them to, like, you want to say feminism all day long until you don't want to go start your car in the cold and scrape your car off, right? Like, no, like,
exactly.
don't pick and choose. I mean, do you want a man or do you not want a man? And so that kind of thing just irritates me, where now it's like sometimes men are afraid to say anything or to speak up or to speak a certain way.
Absolutely.
Because of this culture that women have created. You know, I mean, even just I've seen the other day, there was this man who opened the door for me and this other woman. And this woman was like, so you think because we're women, we can't open the door? And I just looked at her and I said, how about just a thank you? Like,
no.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And she said, women too, don't you feel kind of like, you know, that they just assume we're weak? And I said, absolutely not. I think that's so super chivalrous for starters, but also I would hold the door open for another woman too, because that's just common courtesy. So don't make men second guess what they're created to do just because we have this new culture. So those are like the two biggest things that I could go on for all of them, but those are the two that come to my mind first.
So let me give you just one bit of advice. If you ever are out to dinner and a guy is swiping, I would call the waiter and order the most expensive shit you could possibly order, and then order you a meal to take home with you. All right?
Here's the thing, though. They're also not promised that they're going to pay either. So
yeah, you're right now. You're right now. Yeah.
You know, I watched that. I watched the one that you guys did about should the guy pay for the first date? And I've had situations where the guy has asked me to pay for him, you know, after inviting me to dinner, you know, and I'm like, no, you know, like one guy, literally we met up and he said, first thing he said is, I Googled your salary because you're a private practice. You make more than me. Because you're a therapist at a private practice, I think you make more than me. And so I think you should pay for dinner.
Wow.
What?
And I was like, I will never.
I would never do that.
Like, I'm totally fine with after the first date, we can split everything. I'll pay for one date. You pay for one date. Like, I'm not expecting you to take care of me. I'm not going to treat you like you're a puppet or like you owe me anything. But at the same time, it's the first date. And like, that's what men are like. To me, that's what a man is supposed to do, you know? So like, I'm not going to feel valued if you do that. And so like, but I'm not promised that nowadays. So
no, you are not, unfortunately. Now, do you date older men or younger men? Or you date, his age? Or
I don't really care as long as they're like, we're in similar like life styles, I guess. So like I have a 12-year-old. So if I was, somebody that was a lot older or a lot younger, they would have to understand like I have a 12-year-old and I'm not sure that I don't want more kids. I mean, I'm starting to get a little old for that, but like I do think I want more kids. So I think it also has to do with like, are you going to be able to fit into that? If I marry someone who's 50, like, are you okay with me potentially wanting another kid? Right. That type of thing. So, or if I even marry someone who's in their 20s, or do you know what it's like to parent, or will you be there to parent or co-parent with me through teenage years of my daughter? Right. So I think that's more important to me than anything else. There
are some very virile 50-year-old men. Don't worry.
I was surprised honest, when you said you're in your 50s, you do not look like you're in your 50s. But I have to say, and this might get me also stoned, but white people do not age well. And so you guys, I'm so jealous of those people who have darker skin because you guys age so much better. Like I look exactly my age, but people who are my daughter's dad is black and his whole family, they look like they're in their 20s and they're in their 50s. It blows my mind.
Yeah, that's why we asked Mitch not to show up today. We knew he wasn't going to be in the running.
We didn't want him to be embarrassed.
It's just so frustrating. It's like, are you kidding me? Like just because I'm white, like I have to look my age. This is not cool. Not cool.
Well, you know, you get the credit score, we get the aging better. You know. So, like, what else have you noticed lately? Now, how much do you date, Bekah?
I don't date much anymore. I dated a lot when I first. So I got divorced 8 years ago. Dated a lot in that 8 years. Like a lot for 6.5 years. I dated. And then I moved to Florida a year and a half ago from Indiana, knew no one. And I realized when I moved here to get out of a really abusive relationship, I was in a relationship where I was actually like fleeing for my life. Like wasn't sure I was going to get out alive. Mm-hmm. And I got here to Florida and started dating again and realized I was attracting the same men, which are typically abusive, narcissistic a-holes, right? And like that's the kind of guys that I was attracting. So I realized I need to look inside and figure out what about me is attracting men like that, right? And so I went to therapy for a while and really did some inner healing and let God, you know, for me, I'm a Christian, so that's a big part of my life. So I let God heal that part of me. And I lost almost 100 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds in the last 8 months, right? So just like really doing a lot in myself, started a business and just stopped worrying about men so much and just started realizing like, maybe I should look for a higher caliber person because I believe I deserve a higher caliber person. So before I was like looking for fixer uppers because I felt like that's all I deserved. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, I see a red flag, like, boy, bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time for you. I'm too dope for that. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. So I don't date a lot. You know, I've been on a few dates in the last few months, but I went on a terrible one when I first got here to Florida. And after that, I was like, I'm done for a while. So I had to drive to the police station to get away from the guy. Wow. So it was pretty crazy.
Let's hear about that real quick.
So he showed up. So I swiped right on him, right? He said he was 6'4", and definitely was not 6'4", which is fine. Like, I don't care that you're not, like, I'm tall and 5'9", but don't lie and say you're 6'4" when you're like, I think he was like, actually, I think he had said he was 6'2", and he was actually like 5'7", so he was quite a bit shorter than me. Wow. And so also I had heels on that day because I was 6'2". And so I show up in these big heels, which make me probably 6'1", and he gets out of the car. And he's covered in cat hair from head to toe, okay? Like, it looks like he just rolled around in some cat hair. And I can't stand cats. I hate cats. I think cats are gross. So he's rolling around in cats. And so he shows up. And the first thing he says out of his mouth is, you look so delicious. I could just eat you up like a snack. And I was like, okay, well, this is not going to be a great date. Like, absolutely not.
That was the first thing he said.
Do what?
That was the first thing he said.
The first thing out of his mouth. Yeah.
With cat hair all over.
And with cat hair everywhere. And so I'm like trying not to hug him. Right? So
I wonder what he's doing with them cats at home.
And he made some comments about like my body that were pretty like not okay. And then we go into Chili's, right? And like we sit down. I know Chili's is where we're eating.
This is where he took you for the first date, Chili's?
We go into Chili's. And we sit down to eat, and I immediately am like, I don't want to be with this guy. I don't want to talk to this guy, whatever. And this is right before the election, okay? So before the 2020 election, right? And so we sit down, and he tells me, in that course of that date, or the dinner, he asked me how many, he was like, well, how, tell me all about your religious beliefs. And then he tells me that there is no God, and like basically tells me why I believe what I believe is trash and all these things. He asked me who I was voting for. He asked me like how many people I'd been with in my life, like just questions you don't ask on the first date, right? And I'm just sitting there like, wow, this is not okay. And then he asked me, can I see a picture of your daughter? And I was like, kind of a red flag. Nope. Like, why? And he was like, I just want to see if she's beautiful like her mom. That just sends way pedo, sort of signal to me, like, no. So he grabs my phone and he like looks at it to see like her as the screensaver or whatever. And he was like, God, she's beautiful. But like her skin is just extraordinarily beautiful. And it just creeped me out. Like it just gave me all the creeps or whatever. So then we go to leave and there was a bunch of other stuff. Like I'll have to tell you off air. I'm not really comfortable sharing it all.
Okay. All right.
It's too much. But some of the stuff he said was just nasty. And then we get out to the car and he says, can I kiss you? And I'm like, no, thank you. And he tries to do it anyway. And I push him away. And he tries to kiss me again. I push him away. And I'm not very assertive. Like I'm very much it takes a lot to make me mad. I'm very chill. But finally I was like, get your hands off me and stop touching me. And so I got in my car and he's like hanging on my car. And he follows me out of the Chili's parking lot. And so I called 911 and I was like, I don't know how to get rid of this guy. And he's like, come to the police station. I'll meet you outside. And so I blocked his number and the police officer comes out and the guy's like, why are you still trying to get with this chick? Like, she doesn't like you. Leave her alone. And he says, but she blocked my number and I don't know where she lives. What if I never see her again? And the cop was like,
that's the point.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
She doesn't like you, dude. I'm going to arrest you for harassment, And so it was that bad. And then he ended up finding me on Facebook like 3 months ago and sent me a message, hope you're well, with a kiss emoji. And I was like,
okay.
No, dude.
Wow.
I
Stalker.
have so many dating horror stories, but I had to, go to the police station just to get rid of this guy.
There you go. That's Nemo. You had your little flag up. What do you got, Nemo?
I know we just talked about your horrible date, but what would be like an ideal date for you? A good date for Bekah? What would be like an ideal date?
I think probably just like, first of all, one where we can actually like talk and do something. So I don't like to go to like movies or something where we can't do any, we can't talk. I want to get to know somebody. Also, I really enjoy doing new things. So something I've never done before or a place I've never gone before. So just even a restaurant that, I've never been to. I also really love assertive men. I don't love passive men at all. It kills it for me. So to me, if a man is like, I've made a reservation at this place and this is where I'm going, like it just takes my heart away. So if most of the time, first dates are like, you choose and you let me know. And I get that they're trying to make a woman feel comfortable and like, that's cool. But like, for me, I feel special when somebody chooses a place and they're like, hey, I think you would really like this place. If I've never been there, I love it. And then I really like, outdoors. Like I came from Indiana, moving to Florida, and now I love that everything here is outdoors. Like you can be outside all the time. And there's just something healing about like being by the water and being just outside and just enjoying it. So I think probably somewhere by the water, outdoors, and having him choose would be my perfect date.
Nice.
That's because you're still feminine. Right. You have feminine energy. A lot of women would think that the guy choosing is kind of like the guy holding the door open for her, right? And so we have that out there, but we don't have to talk about that. It's really good to see that you worked on yourself. You realize that there was something that may have been wrong with you, not wrong with you, but something that you needed to notice and change, right?
Yeah.
And grow. And then you're prepared yourself for the guy you want.
Exactly.
Right? Like there are people that don't work on themselves at all, men and women, and they think that they're supposed to get like the top person, right? It doesn't work like that, especially with men. Right. We have certain things that we just don't give on. You know what I mean? Like appearance wise and stuff like that. But there are things that we will accept if the woman excels in another place. And I think that's probably women probably feel the same way too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why I realized I need to look inside. If I'm attracting the same person all the time, just in different types of people, but they're doing the same things, it's a me issue because I'm allowing it to happen and I'm not stopping it after the first time it happens. Right. Like we all teach somebody how to treat us, and I was teaching them like, it's okay to treat you this way because I didn't think that I deserved to be treated better.
Yeah. What we allow, we teach for sure.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I know my daughter was watching that, like, especially in the times I've been in like that abusive relationship for 2 years. Like, he asked at one point, he said, can I marry your mom? And she looked at him. She was like 9. And she said, no. And he said, well, why not? And she said, because I hear my mom cry at night every night. And I know that that's not how it's supposed to be. And then she said, plus when we're out in public, you say other girls are prettier than my mom all the time. And I just think whoever marries my mom should think she's the most beautiful woman in the world.
Wow.
And I just realized how much it was impacting her.
Wow.
And I thought, I don't ever want her to think that that's how a man's supposed to treat her. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's rough.
Ms. Bekah, what's in your future? What's going on with you? You got any projects coming up? What do you?
Yeah, so I'm working on a book. So this book is called Out of the Pig Pen: My Journey Out of Shame. And it's literally like my baby that I've been working on for 9 months now, 10 months. It's really hard to write a book, guys. But it's about my journey out of shame. And really, shame had gotten me so entangled in low self-esteem and believing that I wasn't worth anything. And when I finally realized, that God had a calling on my life and that I was special and important and all of these things, and not any more or less than anyone else, but that I was still loved by him despite all of the mistakes that I'd made in my life, and that I could find healing instead of just accepting that to be my reality. That's when I started living in a different place. And so when you're broken, you make broken decisions, right? Whenever you are still hurting, you make decisions out of that hurt. And so that's what was happening is I was dating people out of that hurt. I was allowing myself to be treated ways that I shouldn't have, even in friendships and even with other people. I was realizing I wasn't demanding what I was worth. And so being healed of that shame and being able to say, you know what, that extra weight that I was carrying around, that 100 pounds, I've been overweight since I came out the womb. I've been a chunky, thick girl since I was 5, I've just always been that way. And, but I had gotten to the point where I was carrying that weight around as an external symptom of shame. And I realized that 8 months ago, it just clicked in my head where it was you're carrying this around because this is what you believe you deserve. You don't believe you deserve to be fit or athletic or attractive, right? And it just clicked where I was I need to heal in these areas. And so and it went all the way back to childhood, where that's where I believed that those names, name tags basically all over me were ugly, fat, disgusting, all of these things. And I never believed anything good about myself. And so now it's literally this story of me getting out of that pig pen and out of the mud and out of the dirt and washing myself off and being who God created me to be.
Wow.
That is awesome.
It's going to be a good book, man. It's going to be
wow.
Well, listen,
yeah.
I know we've had a really good time with you. And listen, we would love to invite you back. Would you come back and do another segment with us?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. So,
hey, I'm gonna plan our date out, and then I'll send you a message.
Sunglasses. I gotta be able to see your eyeballs. Off, okay.
There you go.
There you go. All right, Bekah, thanks a lot for hanging out with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
And we guarantee, as long as you would like to, we will have you back for another segment.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thanks.